listen carefully. Give us some backstory and some life backstory.
Yeah, so I started into coaching from relationship background because I was falling apart. So I left my 15-year marriage having an affair. And then my next relationship was, of course, falling apart. I had no idea how to communicate, and I didn't know how to share my needs. I didn't know how to get what I wanted. I mean, there were so many things going on. And so when I started into coaching, it was because I realized, like, I'm the center of these relationships that aren't working, and I need to learn how to heal myself. And so tip number one is become a master of yourself, personal growth and development again. I mean, you have to become who you want to be with in relationships. So if we're talking intimate relationships, that's one thing. But then when we're talking about business relationships, same thing. You know, no one's going to want to work with you if you are insecure, scared, can't speak your mind, don't know how to communicate, you know. So it's personal growth and development is the key primary foundation. And when I say personal growth and development, I'm again talking about doing what it takes to learn everything you can about yourself so that you can show up authentically, powerfully, consciously, in a caring way where you aren't projecting all of your wounded history onto other people, which I used to do a lot. So personal
Not
development.
Not
Yeah,
you. You would never do
no.
such a thing. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I had a huge issue with that. So I'd say personal growth and development. Number two, learn how to communicate. Learn how to communicate. And what that takes is you knowing how you feel inside. And it takes you being able to show up vulnerably and ask people questions. I used to struggle horribly with just making a lot of assumptions and then thinking like, oh, Paxton wants me to be like this, so I'll show up like this to try to make him happy. But the thing that doesn't work is you never know. Everybody wants different things.
Yeah, that's right.
And so you end up morphing yourself into all of these different people and you don't even know who you are. And then you're resentful, but it's not anyone else's fault because it's you who's abandoning yourself for connection. Right. So personal growth and development, communication. Learn how to not, I love this one. I bet you, I don't know if you saw this video. It was way back when, I don't know if I called it this, but it's don't be a fixer robot is what I call it. So
wait, hold on. 1 second. Yes, I've watched just about every video that she's ever made. I've watched it. Yes. But I'm telling you, if you got to go to her page and you got to watch her videos. And there are some videos, please don't lose your thought. There are some videos that no one has watched yet. Trust me, they're some of the best ones that she's got on there. Please go ahead. I'm just telling everybody. I'm plugging you. I'm like your front man. Go ahead.
Thank
go ahead.
You.
Were saying?
Thank you. You know, it's funny, right? Because when I first started those videos, I go way back. I'm like, dang, this is pretty good, but I had no following. So it's got like 2 views.
Yeah, I know. It's like.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I want to take them and
reposting them.
Yes, I was like, you can just totally repost that. Or just take them all off and just make a book. Just make a Patreon and just make a book.
I will be.
Very valuable, smart stuff you got there. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so fixer robot. And it's funny because this is often a masculine thing. Like a lot of guys will do this, but I did it a lot with my kids because they'd come to me with an issue and I would be like, terrified inside that they were going to have to feel bad. And so I would just try to fix instead of just talking. People will tell you very clearly that when they want advice. They will say to you, hey, Paxton, can you give me some advice? When they just want to be heard, they come to you and they just start sharing and talking. And it's like, okay, listen, learn to be a great listener. So that aligns with don't be a fixed robot. Learn how to listen. And reflective listening. So it's like you're actually connecting consciously. You're present with somebody in a space where you really want to know them and know that they're not going to have the same belief system as you. They're not going to have the same fears, hopes, doubts, dreams, worries as you. And so listen and ask questions. And this goes, you know, when you're asking relationships, this goes for intimate relationships and business. I mean, part of the reason I have such an incredible following of people, like I don't have a massive following. I have a pretty small following actually, but it's like a very dedicated, loyal following. And I've built my entire business out of it because I listen to what my people are saying. And I do that in relationship. And now with my kids, I'm much better. I'll actually say to them, do you want advice here or are you just wanting me to listen?
That's a good one. Okay. I learned that. That's a good one. I like the way you said that. That's good.
And they almost always say, no, just listen.
No, right?
I'm like, but I know so much. Let me help you.
You're going to just tap into me. I can tell you so much and you can avoid it. They're kind of like, no, this is my journey. I'll kind of deal with it. You know? Okay,
and that ties to number 5. Let people be who they are. Like,
Yeah.
stop trying to change people to fit your needs,
Yeah.
because everyone's going to end up frustrated and resentful, and it doesn't work.
Yeah. So,
And I'm going to add a bonus one, because
no, no, go ahead. No.
this is one I really was stuck with, is that I used to be attracted to people's potential instead of where they're at now. And as a coach, of course, I love to pull people up to their potential, but that's them coming to me and say, help me do that. If you're stepping into a relationship with someone, see them for who they are. You'll know by how they show up. Don't listen to what they say, because people show you where they're at. So don't fall in love with their potential. Fall in love with who they're at now. And if that works, then they can always get better, of course. But don't kid yourself about like the future of what could be.
Right. 15 years. 15 years. You were married. And in 15 years of being married, if you could say there were two things that you learned that you could tell to some young woman who's got this guy and he's engaged they're engaged, or she's thinking about getting married one day, what are two things you would tell someone that's not married that they need to keep in mind, beside the plethora of information that's very valuable you just gave us? Two things, only two. I know you may want to say 20, but only two things. No, it's okay. 20 is right, but two things. What are the two things that you would tell a single woman that she may need to keep in mind? If that guy is so cute, he's just so cute, what would you say?
Well, I have to ask you questions, because I need to know more about this person.
Oh, wait. Now you're going to see. Now we open up the reflective listener person that are going. Go ahead. What do you want to know?
I mean, do they have a solid foundation in their relationship, or is it like an infatuation thing? Or
you do know that this is a semi-talk show that's a hypothetical person, right? We are not really, but for the sake of conversation, this is a young woman who has her own place, has her paying her own bills. She has her own vehicle. She has a little chump change in the bank, and technically she can go and travel if she wants to. And now she's been presented with this partnership of getting married and working as a team. What would you tell her? And she's emotionally grounded.
Awesome.
Is that good?
Yeah. I mean, I would say that woman is going to attract somebody who's very similar to her, because we attract, our outer worlds of experience.
Yes, no, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Right.
So most likely that person's going to have those similar qualities that are aligned for them. And so it's constant, continual communication. I mean, I can't say that one enough. Like I work with a lot of entrepreneurial couples, and the number one issue I see is people forget to communicate in long-term relationships. Like they make assumptions and they go, well, we've been together so long and I know you and I know this and I know that, but things change and times change and energies change. And so it's just constant communication. And this one might surprise you, cultivate intimacy. And I think intimate connection, it's just like having those conversations and making sure you're on the same page. And intimacy doesn't have to be sex. It can be a hug every morning. Like I tell people to do landing and launching rituals. So in the morning when they leave, make sure you have a launching ritual where it's even like a 17-second hug raises your oxytocin and makes you bonded to each other. So have those landing and launching rituals to keep the connection going.
Yeah, I like that, the landing and launching. Now I know what to. I gave my parents a different name for that. I called it Yuck and Yuck 2, Yuck 1 and Yuck 2, because they had this thing before they both died. They stayed together till they died. My father died first. I found funny, you're talking about launching. They had this thing they did every time they left each other or they came back to each other. And I would go like, you guys need to like totally quit that. That is like so stupid you guys do. It's like you just saw each other like 8-9 hours ago. What is it like, and because it was before we have the technology. So that was their thing, because other than picking up a landline, you couldn't, and they didn't see you talk to each other. But they had the thing, and what you're saying is absolutely correct. Very valuable information to make sure that intimacy is not all about sex. It's actually about tender feelings and compassion with one another. And especially for us guys to be mindful that the woman feels connected to us and that we're not just task driven, that they're connected, especially when you have to work together as entrepreneurs. It's very important because it can be all about the numbers and not about the affection. Okay. last point in the tip jar, and then I've got plethora more to move on to. And I'm gonna keep going till you run out of words. That was my objective. I totally came up with that.
We are going to be here for at least 20 hours.
Wait. You don't know. You never did this with me. I'll run you. I'll try to ask you so much, and you're going to go like, didn't I say that like 5 minutes ago? And I go like, gotcha. All right. 5 tips. And actually, you touched on it, and I thought you were going to go down that road, and you did a little bit. 5 tips from Amanda. Okay? This is Ask Amanda. The whole segment is called Ask Amanda. She doesn't know that. That's just the name I'm giving it. So you can start a T-shirt. You can take that and make some money off it. Copyright that if you want. Ask Amanda. Ask Amanda. 5 tips from Amanda on raising children.
Ooh. Well, let me say this. I love my kids. Like,
was that a disclaimer? What is that a disclaimer?
Well, it's just this. No, it's like I mean, my kids are the one thing that I could just start talking about and instantly start crying. Like, they're my heart, they're my soul. I would not be who I am today. I had kids. I mean, I got pregnant when I was 20. So I'm really, I have 22, 18 and 15-year-old. And I'm so close with my kids because I listen to them. And I can't say I was always this way. Like, when I was raised as a fundamentalist Christian, so I had a very restrictive household where there were just defined rules. And so, that caused me to be a certain type of parent. I was really scared at first when I became a parent. And over the years, as I've stepped into personal growth and development, I've really learned strategies to parent differently. And it's like, let my kids flourish into who they are without so much fear. So I'd say first, listen. Second, let go of some of those fears, because what we do is we have these long-term projections of like, oh no, my kid's doing this, and it means we go all the way down the road.
We start connecting.
Yeah, we're like, they're going to start using drugs, and then this, and then this, and then it's going to lead to death, And that's, right, it's terrifying, and we parent from that place, and it causes our kids to feel confined, like they don't want to talk to you. I mean, I have, when my kids were in high school, my girls, they would bring friends over who would ask me a whole bunch of questions because they're like, we can't talk to our parents about these things.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm very open. I'm like, talk to me about sex, talk to me about drugs. Let's like educate you so you can make a wise decision versus telling you it's wrong, bad, you're going to die and get disease and everything's going to go to hell. So it's really about listening. It's about, letting them become who they want to become. It's about, freedom to have them, teach them how to step into their zone of genius, teaching them confidence. Like I was talking about earlier, that confidence piece to know, love, and trust themselves, which can't happen if you have a restrictive household that's like so restrictive that they can't explore. Kids need to fall down and make mistakes to figure themselves out. That's part of the game of life. So if you're helicopter parenting and you're always worried and kind of confining their expansive capabilities because you're scared they're going to get hurt, they're going to then have to do that when they move out of the house. I work with a lot of people in their 40s and 50s who don't know who they are and don't know what they want because they never got to discover that in their childhood.
Yeah.
And so, I think that's a huge gift we can give to our kids. And I would say, modeling radical responsibility is really powerful for your kids too. Like my kids know I had an affair. I've talked to them about it. My ex-husband and I are super close now. So we have like family dinners and we talk very openly about our stuff. We don't try to hide it or we don't let the shame grow. We go like, here's this thing that happened. Let's talk about why it happened. Let's show up and be real people it's like, I think sometimes parents get stuck in this thing of like wanting their kids to think that they're superhuman and can do it all. It doesn't set them up for success because then when they're starting to fall down and feel like they're falling apart, they're like, what do I do? Because I don't have a model for what to do in that situation.
Surviving being imperfect is very difficult for some parents, and then they don't teach their children that. The child makes a mistake and the parents are nowhere around, or they have to now report back to the parents their shortcomings, and the shame and the guilt takes over, and then it just breeds into this arrogant attitude of covering up. It's just so many things happen when we don't own up to being an imperfect human being who's doing the best that they can with the resources that they have and with the energy that they have. You are not done. That one's done, but you're not done. Okay, so that was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So next card. I'm going to read this phrase to you. And when I read this phrase to you, you get to say whatever comes to your mind and your feelings. Now, really, this channel that I'm doing here is really about feelings. And guys, don't be sending me DMs with the song. Okay, so the song about feelings. So just, that's an old song. You're only 18. You can't remember all this stuff. So I'm going to read a phrase.
Okay.
Discuss your thoughts on it. That's a normal human tendency, leading with the left brain. But I really want to hear the right brain side of what you think about.
Okay.
When you hear this phrase, explain this phrase and how you feel and think about it. Being a sponge. What does that mean to you?
Learning what you can from your environment and the people around you, and feeling through intuitive connection. So trusting yourself to tap into your intuition and really listening to it in that sponge-like way. And I'll add,
you know what? Wait. You are training me that Amanda does not mean Amanda. It means and. So no, I'm ready. No, the rest of the show, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's funny because my coaching part wants to come out when I say that, like I go, and be careful what you're absorbing. Like, be conscious about what you're absorbing. Set boundaries for yourself, because I used to just absorb everything that was going on around me. It was pretty overwhelming. Yeah. So it's like learning your boundaries by being a sponge, absorbing what's going on around you, learning from everyone that's around you, but then also deciphering what you do want to let in and what needs to be boundaried.
Got it. That's being a sponge. Next, the phrase is, and your feelings and thoughts on this, being a people pleaser.
You really did your research. I like this.
Hey man, you have no idea. Listen, I could have kept going. We could have started at 4 o'clock today, which is like 5 o'clock. I was going like, man, this is like a whole series. I could do one each month. I could do one each month.
Totally,
just like ask Amanda, and then it'd be like a
game.
You know what? It's like a seminar. It's like you can just do that. If the COVID thing opens up, you should just go to corporate offices and just say, hey, I do an Ask Amanda program. And they go like, what that is? Ask me anything.
Yeah.
And I just go ahead. So, people pleaser.
Yeah.
Being a people pleaser.
Well, what it makes me think of is don't freaking be a people pleaser.
Wait, we're done with that one. So we go to the next one.
And what it makes me feel is like, thank God I'm not a people pleaser anymore.
Yeah. Hey, been there, done that. No, why? Wait, but I, instead of me saying, I'll ask the question: why does that make a difference when it feels so good to not be that anymore?
Yeah. Well, say more, because I want to know what you mean. Why does it make a difference?
Okay, so in other words, why does it feel so good to not be a people pleaser?
Because you gain your sanity.
There you go.
It's life is so much easier when you're not a people pleaser, and I know because I was a doormat people pleaser for a lot of my life, and it just makes you feel angry, resentful, stuck, frustrated, victim-minded. I mean, on and on and on and on and on and on, and you can never please everybody. It's impossible. So it steals your energy and your inspiration and it's just a really big one. Yeah, we could do probably a month-long program on that.
Yeah. Wait, it's in my mind. I've been thinking about who and what I'm going to do that, when I'm going to do that, because what happens more than anything else, it's like being on an emotional. It's like being in an emotional hamster wheel. It's just. And it may seem like there's a moment where it kind of slows down, and before you know it, it picks back up again. Hamsters do that. Hamsters don't just go all the time. They literally get a point where they're thinking to themselves, oh, wait a minute, I'm just going in nowhere in circles. And then they slow down, and out of habit, or when they get scared, they just start doing it all over again. And people do that. They start to find themselves where they're in this emotional roller coaster hamster wheel, and they don't know how to stop. So go to NFA Coaching, which is Amanda's page, and check out the IG stories, and just start playing around with stuff you find in there that may work for you, and you're going to find that Amanda has a great deal of treasures in there, practical advice, practical guidance that can be very helpful. Next, Oh, wait, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do this one. Okay, next phrase. I'm saving that one.
I was going to say, I want to know what it is.
No. I want to, that'll be, no. Okay, so here we go. The phrase that Amanda's going to talk to us about is people who are stuck making excuses.
Yes. Well,
now be nice to these people, but let them have it.
I will. I get it. One of my favorite quotes is from my dad. He said, "Excuses are like buttsies. Everyone has one, and they all stink."
Oh, that's a good. There's another shirt for you. That's a shirt. That's the Amanda line. Okay, go ahead.
It's so good. Excuses are our way. It's an unconscious strategy, is all it is. So it's you having an unconscious strategy of trying to either you're afraid to take action, you don't have a good plan, or it's out of alignment with your value system. That's really the reason. I mean, excuses to me are in alignment with procrastination, and procrastination is one of the biggest things that I work with people on because it's such a common problem. And procrastination is just the three things I said. It's like it's out of alignment with your value system, meaning that you're trying to do something you don't really want to be doing, and you're trying to force yourself to do it, which is why you're not taking action, or you're scared. There's something in there that's unconscious that you're scared of, or you don't have a good plan. Sometimes we're overwhelmed with there's so much to do, and so then we start to make excuses because that is you talking to your brain, trying to make soothe your brain and go like, well, here's why. It's excuses and justifications or why I'm not doing it. And it's like this soothing, but your being really knows that you're just making an excuse. And so, I think if you're stuck in that cycle, go there. What am I afraid of? Is this in alignment with what I really want? Or do I need a better plan? Ask yourself those questions and the excuses will start to subside.
Right. Very, very good advice. Very good advice. Excellent. Okay. We went through the tip jar, and now we're going to do the habit hamburger.
Ooh.
The habit hamburger is made up of three different things: life, business, and a positive mindset. Those three things together make a little habit hamburger. We eat off of this hamburger based upon our habits. Sometimes we have bad habits. Sometimes we have good habits. This is the longest segment thing I ever came up with. This is the most I ever want to say, but I have to say it. So this habit that we have about life, business, and a positive mindset. I want your thoughts on good habits that we can have when it comes to life, business, and having a positive mindset. Or go right ahead.
I would say that the number one thing you need in that habit hamburger to align all of those is meditation. And funny that I was not a meditator my whole life until this year, and it's completely transformed my brain. So I would say it's the habit of awareness. It's the habit of slowing down to connect with yourself. It's the habit of taking time to get aligned so that you can have that great life, have the mindset that's aligned, and have the business that you want. All those things intersect. So it's all rooted in you being energetically balanced. So, I don't know how far you want me to go deep into like manifestation stuff.
Wait, time out. This is what I want. Actually, I'll tell you right now. The whole point of this one was as a teaser.
Yeah.
Okay. For people, they have to go to your page to get the rest.
Nice.
I don't want it all. I don't want the whole kitchen here.
Yeah.
People can come into the kitchen and look around, but I don't want them to get into the refrigerator and start going through the cabinets. They got to go to your page. But there's information you have on your page that actually allows people to understand the ability that they have the ability to put forth positive, beneficial, good habits. We say good. I'm just trying to break the word good out more because what's good for me and my habits may not be good for my daughters, or may be good for my daughters, may not be good for their friends. So there are beneficial, productive habits for each person on this planet. You highlight some of those in many different varying ways on your page. So go to her page, guys. You're not going to get it all today. You can't get it all like that. She don't want to give it all to you like that because she would. But you need to, we got something else we're going to do. But when it comes to habits, they can truly get in the way and leave room for people to make justification, and excuses. It's all connected. I'm not going to do. I'm going to be a front man, but I'm not going to do the whole page right now. But go to NFA Coaching.
Yeah.
Go to Amanda's page. There's a great deal of information. But when it comes to life, business, and a positive mindset, there can also be bad habits that a person can have. Can you list maybe one bad habit? I know you may want to do more. One or two. We got time. One or two habits when it comes to life, business, and a positive mindset. What are some bad habits that can get in the way of productive and good habits?
It's interesting because my brain, if I think practical, like when we're going just really practical, what's a bad habit? I would say, oh man, there's so many. I mean, I have to plug, right? Like my podcast is called Max Potential Habits.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's like such a juicy, delicious topic for me. And Aristotle says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So everything is grounded in your habits. Your mindset is a habit. And so my brain wants to go to like the mindset piece. When we go like the bad habit, I'd say the number one bad habit that people practice is not having control of their mind, where they let their inner critic beat the crap out of them at all points in time. And it just runs and they're not even aware of it. And so when they start to tap into that reality, then you go, oh, that's why my life and business aren't working, because I've got this inner critic sitting on me, weighing me down. And the funny thing is that your inner critic's meant to keep you safe. And so you've got to learn how to bypass it because it's a survival mechanism. We track for negative things going on in our environment and to keep us safe. So we've actually got to do the work through habits development, which takes energy, effort, and focused attention. And you'd be shocked how quickly you can change habits. So if you're sitting in this place going, oh, I've got some really bad habits, just get aware of them first. You first have to have awareness of them. And you first get to go like, okay, if I don't like the results I'm getting in my life, somewhere it's in my belief system, my mindset, my habits, right? And those are all really habits. So you go, okay, let's just start questioning myself and seeing how I can shift in these directions. Because just like you said, one habit that's really great for me, like it might be a great habit for me to get up at 4 a.m. every morning. And for you, you need to get up at 7 for you to feel powerful every day. They're not all the same. We can say a morning routine is a habit that all successful people have, but their morning routine is going to vary based on their individual unique needs and loves. So, I'd say in the bad habit realm, learn to get conscious of the stories you tell yourself that you're buying into that are keeping you stuck.
Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. It's really good. A lot of what you're bringing to our attention. But now I get to the last one that is a part of this package. So you just answered this one.
Nice.
Now I have this. Okay. Now I'll read it. People are hard to hate. Close up. Move in. That's from Brene Brown. Tell us why that is important to you.
So good. Yeah, that one makes me want to cry too. It's like when I read that quote, so it was in the middle of writing my dissertation. When that book came out, and I actually got to see Brene Brown speak on stage, I was teaching at the University of Colorado Boulder, and that quote to me just aligned everything that I was focusing on, because I was doing research with incarcerated men who had been on average incarcerated for 18 years, were gang involved, had really violent crimes in their history, and we're now moving into a recovery program. And it just yelled in my mind, like, wow, when I sat in this room with people and I would do, it's funny because you say we could go all day. I had one interview that was 9 hours long.
Whoa.
9 hours. Yeah. I mean, and then on average, my interviews were 4 hours long. So I interviewed 40 men for 4 hours each. And wow, you can dig real deep in that time. And they would often tell me, they would cry to me and tell me, no one's ever asked me these questions. No one's cared enough to take the time to ask these questions. And I mean, it was like life altering, because, I'm sitting there with white supremacists and, people that have murdered people and just like these wild lives. And then I hear their childhood stories. And I mean, like, I could cry right now. It's like movie-like violence. And you're like, of course, this is how you turned out. Like, you didn't have a chance.
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
It's the sponge piece. They absorbed like a sponge
Yes.
everything that was going on in their environment. No one was helping them figure out how to do anything differently. Gang was the best option. That leads them to a life of substance use and crime, of course, right? And so as I leaned into getting to know who they were, I am like such a great lover of people now. You know, like I used to kind of have a thing about not liking men. You know, I was like men, like I had a real feminist stance of like men are the evil of the world type of thing. And then when I did this work with these men, I grew the softest heart I could. I mean, it was amazing. I just thought like, wow, these men are suffering. Like they are suffering. They have no one to talk to about it. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't even see themselves as victims in any way. And they had such a powerful mindset, and just I learned so much. So that quote really aligns. It's in my dissertation. You know, it's like a really powerful quote to me.
Yeah. You like Brene Brown then?
I do. Yes.
I have to tell you, I really thought about just having a Brene Brown show with you and just a bunch of her quotes and stuff like that. But now,
Yeah.
man, if I would have done that, that would have went well too. I thought, nah, she probably just saw that quote and that's the only one. But no,
Yeah.
you have a good affection for a very. She has a way of putting words in a very well balanced way that are still powerful. They're easy.
Yeah.
They're easy to digest.
Yeah.
A lot of what she writes. You're
Yeah.
not getting away scot free, because now we go into the second phase of Ask Amanda, and I'm going to ask Amanda to explain to all of us her viewpoint, her thoughts, and her feelings on being highly successful. So, Amanda, when it comes to being highly successful, could you list for us what people have told you that they view as being highly successful? What are some things that in your life experience, in business and in life, people have told you about being highly successful? Feel free to list any of those in whichever way you want to.
I love this because I actually, in my masterminds, I will ask people, what does success mean to you? And we all talk about it and brainstorm. And the thing we came down to, which is why I also have this dual brand, Neurofreedom Alignment, is freedom. Success is freedom. And the reason that that is the case is because it's different to all of us. Some people want to live in a, you know, like a tiny house on a farm with a commune, and other people want to live on a house overlooking the beach. Some people don't think about the success piece of integrated with money at all. So, I mean, we could go on and on and on. So it's like when I think of success, to me, success is getting to live the life you want to live, making, for me, it's making a huge impact in the world, sharing my gifts with the world, you know, and then I just know that the money comes because I'm doing what I can do in the world to help people, you know, become masters of themselves. And then I get to teach other people that. I get to, you know, that influences my kids, and I can go on and on. But it's just, you know, success is that the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You know, it's like, what is it that you were born to do, and getting to do that and feeling like you can't wait to get out of bed every day and do the work you do in the world. And like, I mean, I have like, so, I mean, it might be I don't know if I could say daily, but it's a very common thing for me to literally just be going through my day, and I'll just stop in the moment and take a few deep breaths and like have tears of gratitude, where I'm just like, is this really my life? Like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, I love what I do, and I love the people I get to work with. And then, you know, it's like I was on food stamps, and I've been on the floor crying in my life, and I've been afraid and scared and people pleasing and stuck and victim minded. And now it's like, I wake up every day, and my life is just an expression of my heart. And that is success to me. So, you know, people similarly that I work with say the same thing, because, you know, they're attracted to working with me in those ways because they're seeking that level of inspiration where they're like, I want to feel like that. You know, I want to feel like I can just express myself fully and do what I want to do in this world. And that's, to me, really the ultimate success.
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. So now I have a supplemental question to that I didn't have, and it's not on anything. So if you had to put it in order, would you say gratitude comes before freedom, or does freedom come before gratitude?
Oh, that is a good one.
Well, hey, I'm old, so I'm asking, these are old questions, you know, so
it comes before. And here's
it comes
why,
before.
because it's be, do, have. Like, and success is the same way. Like, we all want success, and we seek it, and we think when we get to the success point, we'll be happy. But it's that you've got to be in the moment grateful. You've got to be joyful in the moment. You've got to be successful in the moment, no matter where you're at. And then you get to have all the things that success brings, like freedom. And so if you really realize you could do it simultaneously where you're grateful and free in the moment, absolutely. But I think if you're stuck, if you're in a stuck place, you've got to realize in your mind, like, what am I energetically putting out there? And if it's complaining, anger, resentment, frustration, shame, guilt, doubt, fear, you're not in a space of gratitude.